Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Ausra.
Let's start episode 243 of Ask Vidas and Ausra podcast. This question was sent by Luciano and he wrote, Dear Mr. Vidas, thanks for your reply. Apart the mini course, I have a question and a big doubt and hope you can clarify. I found your article Steps in Composing Organ Sonata from 2012 and found it very interesting and clear. It is a kind of a template which I'm using with satisfaction. I am composer amateur and write music only for my satisfaction. Many years ago I studied the Book of Marcel Dupré, complete course of improvisation on the organ, and found something similar but not the same. It is a binary form exposition. I'm sure you know this book and my questions are 1. Are these templates, yours and the one of Dupre's, the same thing or not? 2. Dupre's explanation does not mention a secondary theme. Is he referring to a monothematic exposition? 3. In the Dupre book 1, page 59, there is a general plan of his form, but now I am confused since there are substantial differences if compared with your steps. Thanks in advance if you will have time to clarify, Luciano. So, what Luciano is talking, Ausra, is I think from the first book, from the first volume of Dupre's improvisation method book on the organ. It's a free form. It's not sonata form, but improvisation on the free theme, and basically improvisation on one theme. It's because sonata form has two themes.
Yes, it's especially necessary if there are no two themes. It means that the piece is not written in a sonata form.
Yes. So what he sees in Dupre's first volume, the form is used mostly in French conservatory settings for examinations, for prizes, for contests they have at the end of the year for improvisation. And this is a good method to follow if you want to improvise, in a strict way, to have a binary or ternary exposition. It's a good starting point, I would say.
True. In general, I would think that there is no need to compare these two different materials because we are completely different. Because you are, discussing different forms, so.
Yes, Luciano probably read my article about improvising or composing organ sonata, which is of course based on real life works, and they must have two themes or
True.
even more.
Yes, two are, at least that you have to have two, but you also could have another two themes actually in exposition plus introduction.
Right. So I think Luciano is in a good way to advance his compositional or improvisation steps and techniques. Do you think that composing and improvising techniques are similar?
True, I think that one is based on another.
You are absolutely correct, and right now I'm currently composing every day, first thing in the morning, on my Sibelius software, and I have a keyboard connected to my computer, MIDI keyboard, and Sibelius has the function called FlexiTime input. You can play on the keyboard while metronome is beating, and the music will be notated on the screen right away. It can be done with as many as 2 adjacent steps. So what I'm doing is first I'm recording right hand and left hand parts, and then later pedal parts, improvising basically them. So of course in earlier times it wasn't very perfect, this type of method of inputting notes, because lots of syncopations, lots of strange ties and rhythmical discrepancies were always present, because human hands don't play very rhythmically, right? But now with later upgrades, Sibelius has various plugins. You can clarify and update your score automatically afterwards, sort of clean up.
Yes, it's good that technology advances so fast.
And so yes, you have to do some manual work and editing, but not nearly as much as before. So that's how I'm able to create quite fast those pieces in the morning and dedicate to my friend organists. So I hope, guys, you also are creating, right? Osha, we are also recording this conversation. It's a form of creativity, don't you think, Osha?
Yes. Some sort of form, yes.
Because you can have various ways of expressing yourself, in text, in pictures, in audio, like we are doing, or in sounds. Maybe you are playing something on the instrument, or in video, you are videotaping yourself, or doing it even live. Now you could do many kinds of streaming online, on Facebook and YouTube, and it's all there after you're done, and your listeners will start to enjoy afterwards right away.
That's right. So just keep, creating something.
Osha, do you think what would be your suggestion or ratio between consuming and creating? Let's say organ music.
Well,
Sight reading and creating.
I don't think it could be, a ratio that would work for everybody. I think everybody has to find her or his own way.
For Luciano, okay.
I don't know. He didn't tell so much about himself, except that he, is an amateur composer. And I don't know if he's intent to play his own works or not.
But when you play other works of other composers, of past or present, or both, your knowledge increases, your musical taste increases, right?
That's true.
Then you can express your ideas in a richer way.
That's right. But as I found out in United States while studying, that usually during your study years, you try to play as much repertoire as possible and to study as much different, various repertoire as possible. But after that, you sort of narrow yourself down into one particular subject or one particular area. Do you think it's a good thing?
Well, that's the system we have right now. Creativity is not a big part of our educational system currently. But it doesn't mean it has to be that way for everyone, right? If the school or institution or conservatory or university gives you some things to study, it doesn't mean that it's the end of your education, right? You could study additional works, and you could create your own things in your spare time, in the mornings or evenings, because yes, it needs to be supplemented because it's not complete. Creativity is it's just beginning to be incorporated into the normal academic curriculum.
Yes, and now when things are changing so fast in life, with new technologies coming out every day, with new discoveries, I think that creativity will be, the basis to survive.
Yes, because machines will replace everything.
True.
And even creativity too, eventually, but not as fast as in a year or two.
Let's hope for that.
Yes, we all know there are videos of, for example, fake videos, right, with President Obama saying something which he even didn't say, right? Artificial intelligence basically created that kind of video based on the speeches that President Obama, made in earlier times.
Yes, that's a scary thing. True, that somebody can analyze your speeches and then to create something out of those speeches.
Right. So the ratio, I intentionally asked Osha about that because I have read in one article online, or even I've heard on the podcasts. I like to listen to podcasts, educational podcasts, while I'm doing some kind of other work activity because it doesn't take my time. So on one podcast, the podcast was called Solopreneur Hour podcast, and they told that the ratio between, for example, reading and writing has to be 3-1. If you write, for 1 hour, you read for 3 hours. So it could be less or it could be more. Don't you think, Osha, it could apply to organ?
True. 3 hours of playing repertoire and 1 hour of
creating,
improvising or composing.
Yeah. That it doesn't have to be 3 hours. It can be maybe 1 hour of playing repertoire and 20 minutes of creating something.
Seems fair.
And then don't forget to share, right? Because what's the point of creating if you're not sharing? If you're hiding under the table. Thank you, guys. This was Vidas.
And Osha.
We hope this was useful to you. Please send us more of your questions. We love helping you grow. And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.